Ottawa's technology community is blessed to have immigrants from all over the world. And this global perspective is coming into play as people in Ottawa witness a global humanitarian crisis unfold in Europe. In this episode of Techopia Live, we talk about how some volunteers from the city's technology community have created a digital link to help bring refugees to Canada and Ottawa. Coming up on Techopia Live. Hello, I'm Michael Curran from the Ottawa Business Journal. Welcome to Techopia Live. This is a regular podcast from OBJ that features executives from next generation technology companies. We want to shine a spotlight on the up and comers, and we want to keep you updated on the up and coming established players as well, all with a goal of keeping the tech sector informed and connected. In this episode, we turn our attention to a geopolitical crisis that is playing out on our TV screens and social media, but it's much more real than simply images on screens. It's capturing our attention and simultaneously breaking our hearts as a humanitarian crisis unfolds. Of course, I'm referring to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. While some members of Ottawa's technology sector are not content to sit back and watch this atrocity. On the contrary, a number of tech execs have sprung into action to launch a charitable endeavor called Ukraine2Canada.org. Let's meet two of its volunteers now. Please welcome Kostyantyn Khomutov. Hello, Kostyantyn.
Hi, Michael.
And next, let's welcome Olga Davidson.
Hi,
Hello, Olga.
everyone.
Welcome to you both, and thank you for being here. Such an important topic we're talking about, and really appreciate your time. I know you're working over hours, Kostyantyn. You were just saying you've been up since the wee hours of the morning. So, Kostyantyn, I'm going to begin with you. Just before we talk about the charity, I just want to get to know you a little bit better. So, can you give us a quick business bio and then talk about your role at Ukraine2Canada.org, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an aerospace engineer by education, turned to the dark side of entrepreneurship about 20 years ago. Started a number of tech startups here in Ottawa area. I'm currently serving as the CEO of a company called G Batteries here in Ottawa Valley. And how am I involved with Ukraine2Canada.org? I got engaged with helping families and friends flee Ukraine for safety. And that's how I met my fellow entrepreneurial colleagues here in Ottawa area. We've joined our forces and created Ukraine2Canada.org.
Well, bravo for that. Olga, let's check in with you too. Give us a sense of your business background, Olga, and what you're doing for Ukraine2Canada.org.
I'm a yoga teacher and host of the Awakening podcast. And one day I just woke up because my husband walked in a room and I said, there is a war started in Ukraine. And I have half of my family on my mom's side. They are all from Ukraine. And I have currently family in Kiev. And I thought, oh my God, what can I do to help? And first I just started to read social media and it's all just dark hole. Like more you read, more fear and anxiety you have. And then I thought, what actual actions I can take to help them? Because reading news not gonna help. What can I do? And I started to raise money, and then I've met Kostya and his team, who are a team of professionals and who do that on a very professional level. And we just collaborated together and do everything we can to help them.
That's excellent. Congratulations for getting involved. Costa, let's come back to you. Can you give us a little bit of the narrative? So you touched on it there a minute ago, but give us the kind of the story of how not only you and Olga came together, but people like Soul and Angel and that banded together.
So everything started, again, February 24th with the invasion of Ukraine. Started helping families and friends navigate to safety out of Ukraine. That was a big chaos that is happening. What I have realized at the time, that people are completely disoriented. They're located under the war crisis conditions. They don't know where to go, where to run. They essentially were kicked out from their homes and they're running for safety. And I started helping. I'm starting getting on the phone, navigating them through Google Maps, getting them to the borders, to the western side of Ukraine, and then further out to Europe, connecting with all of my friends, whoever I knew, to get them shelter, housing, and have a safe place to be for them and their family and their kids. And then I've noticed on LinkedIn that Solon Angel from MindBridge AI have posted that he's helping a family. I messaged him and I said, hey, why don't we join forces and just help as many as we can? That's how it began. That's kind of the beginning of the story.
And Olga, you mentioned this a little bit, but it must be very exciting and empowering to be with this CEO group, these tech CEOs that are very entrepreneurial and know how to get things done. Is that an energizing space for you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they know what they do.
So, and listen, I want to check in on the progress. So the website, and it's on screen. We should point out. So it's Ukraine2Canada.org. It's been up for a few weeks, but equally important, Kosta, you've been in direct contact, with people in Ukraine, and tell us about the progress that you've been making over the past several weeks.
Yeah, so we've helped close to 24 families directly by finding the housing in Europe, being able to locate them, navigate them to those places. Now, since the last probably nearly to 2 weeks now, if I'm not mistaken, we are helping to apply for Canadian visa applications because Canada has released this accelerated visa program for Ukrainians. We have learned the processes, and Olga has created a Telegram group where we joined like-minded individuals, and now we're nearly 1,000 people over there working on helping one another to fill out all of these applications. Some have already been invited to receive visas. Some have been invited to provide their biometrics, which is another big chaos in Europe right now for the biometrics towards Canada. And we're just gearing up to welcome everybody here in Canada.
And Olga, if you could let us know, have we actually been able to bring some companies to Ottawa at this point, or to Canada?
Some companies.
Yes, some companies. Yeah, have you had? Sorry, I meant families. Sorry, we're usually talking about business here, Olga. But my default unit is a company. Of course, we're talking about families right here.
Yeah. So first, my family members who are in Kiev started to reach out to me, and I started to navigate how to get safely to Europe. And then we were tracking the program which Canada recently released. And once program was opened, we started to fill out applications, and people have so many questions. They need so much help. And I also thought that if I already help my family, why don't I share this information with everybody else? That's why I created the group. And then as it started to grow so fast, because people need help, they need answers for their questions. And then I started to search for volunteers. So I posted on Facebook, and right away I got 10 people who now are helping me to manage all these people and answer them 24/7. And yeah, basically we have 2 groups now in Telegram, somebody who asks for help, and then another group is somebody who is able to answer at any time and guide them as much as possible to go through this process, because it's all new and lots of fear, lots of uncertainty.
And Kosta, I want to come back to you, and I'm not trying to get too political here, but Canada is trying to introduce special programs to facilitate and accelerate people coming here to Canada. Is Canada doing enough, or is there still a little bit too much red tape in this process?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Canada for creating the program, for opening up the doors for Ukrainians and welcoming them here. If we get into a bit into the weeds and understanding, so if we compare Europe right now, Poland, Germany, other countries, Switzerland, and many more within Europe that are welcoming Ukrainian war refugees, let's call them this way, they're providing them medical right away, financial support, housing, food. Everything is being done for them almost immediately upon their entrance. Canada has not released the same program for Ukrainians at the moment. Although I'm hearing as of yesterday, there's more and more that Canada is putting forward towards Ukrainian, but nowhere near what Europe is offering for them right now. It creates a lot of uncertainties, even for Ukrainians to leave Europe right now, although it's overcrowded. They're saying, I'm going to fly overseas. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do there? Will I be able to learn language? Will I be able to have medical or any type of shelter? That's why we have created this organization at the beginning to help people. And now we're seeing that our mission is even beyond just helping people come here. We're taking on a huge responsibility to welcome people to Canada and enable them to settle and hopefully build a new life here in Canada. So to answer your question after this long speech is Canada is doing a lot and we're grateful. Can they do more? Of course, and we would love to see a bit more. And we are happy to work together to see what we can bring to Ukrainians when they come here.
And that might be a little bit of a push, Costa. Again, we're not trying to be too political, but for individual Canadians to reach out to their MPs and say, great that we've started this, but we need to get this accelerated. These are war refugees, as you said. Listen, I'm going to ask both of you about how people watching or listening can help. But before we do that, I just want to pause for a second and recognize the sponsor of this episode, Calian Group. Grow your career with Calian. Work on exciting projects in a flexible environment fueled by passionate people who are committed to moving the world forward. Calian has more than 4,500 full-time, part-time, and contract employees working towards a common goal to help the world communicate, innovate, learn, and lead safe and healthy lives. Calian engineers reliable solutions that solve complex problems for its customers in 4 business segments: advanced technologies, learning, health, IT, and cyber solutions. Be part of an organization that embraces diversity, equality, and experience. Visit Calian's career page to find the right opportunity for you. We're back with Kosta and Olga from ukrainetocanada.org. Olga, let's come to you. So, I think we're getting a sense of what the organization is, what you're trying to achieve, what the process has been like, some of the barriers, by the way. Let's talk about how people watching or listening can help. What is your recommendation to them?
Our biggest problem is housing because it's very expensive and rent is expensive in Canada. So if someone can donate their house or become a host, that would be really helpful. And we have a button on our website with the housing accepting. And the other thing is jobs, because people want to become independent soon and they want to contribute to society. They don't want to be just refugees. They want to be useful for the society. So if you know anyone who is hiring or can take somebody whose English is not perfect and who is just starting to speak English, that would be very helpful. And of course, we have a donation button. If you're not able to do one of this, you can also help us in terms of money. And 100% of the money raised will go to help Ukrainians to settle down in Canada.
Those are excellent suggestions, Olga. We've got obviously kind of a CEO business leader crowd on this. So I love the idea of hosting people, opening your homes, and also thinking about what sort of employment opportunities there are for these refugees. Before we wrap up, Kosta, I just want to give you a chance to share any final words to people watching or listening. What is your message to them today?
To help as much as you possibly can. Olga has outlined the ways of how you can help. And for the executives that are watching this show, again, many of us used to fly before the COVID times. So we have accumulated a lot of air miles. If you're unable to become a host, or if you're unable to donate money at the moment, please go to our website and you can donate your air miles and help Ukrainians fly overseas for your air miles.
So many practical reasons and ways for people to donate. Listen, Kosta and Olga, I want to thank you for joining the show. I salute you, as well as I know lots of other business leaders, for what you're doing. You just weren't content to see this happen. You wanted to take action. So congratulations to you. I wish that you have huge success with this. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. Before we wrap up, let's take a look at some of the other great companies that are championing Techopia. Techopia is brought to you by many great sponsors, such as EY, building a better working world; Number Crunch, offering virtual CFO services for SaaS companies. Pearlie Robertson Hill and McDougall, a leader in business and technology sector law. TD Bank, specialized programs for technology companies. The University of Ottawa Faculty of Engineering, creating the next generation of technical talent. Calian, innovative solutions delivered with integrity. Techopia is not only a podcast, we post new articles daily at obj.ca/Techopia. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, you can find Techopia at Techopia OTT. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe and click the bell icon. A big thanks again to Kosta and Olga for joining us today. I love when entrepreneurs spring into action and try to get things done for the social good as well as the economic benefit of the city. So once again, I salute them. And I hope Techopia is keeping you connected and informed. Let's keep building Ottawa's technology utopia. That's Techopia. Bye-bye.